University of Pennsylvania Quakers. Brought to you by the...
In Chicago and Philadelphia and Terre Haute, they have come by the thousands, bringing with them their banners, their bands, their dreams unfulfilled. What do they have in common? They've all got championship fever here in Salt Lake City. Hello, everybody. I'm Brian Gumbel. Welcome to the Special Events Center here on the campus of the University of Utah in Salt Lake City, where today we're going to play the semifinals of the National Collegiate Basketball Championship. What a weekend this is going to kick off on NBC.
Schools to identify, have some sentiment. Maybe you like an old coach, maybe you like a long shot, as is the University of Pennsylvania Quakers. There was a long shot 2 years ago at the Omni in Atlanta. The team that lost more games ever than still won the national championship. Marquette, Al McGuire, semifinal 2 years ago. You beat UNC Charlotte. You know that role, and you also know that sweet taste of victory.
Well, what Penn has to do to win this game, they must bring Michigan State out of the matchup zone. The matchup zone plays man-to-man on the baseline. They must govern the tempo of the ball game. They also must alternate their defenses, which will shake Michigan State up. They must stop, surprisingly, in my opinion, Berkovich, Donnelly, and Charles.
Well, wait a minute, not Irvin Johnson and Greg Kelser?
Only God can stop Irvin Johnson. Okay?
How about controlling the tempo? What's he mean?
Well, I think he's right. Do you play to win or do you play not to lose? And I think in Penn's case, they have to stay in the game early, Dick, because that matchup zone gets tighter, tougher, and tougher to shoot against, especially if you're behind. You got to put up some shots you don't want. And Michigan State plays a great matchup zone.
Well, Judd Heathcote, head coach, Michigan State, in his third year with the Spartans. He has his team in the Final Four. How does he win today?
Well, I think he wins by doing the same things that he did all year long. They've lost more games than anybody here, but they've played the toughest competition of anybody. They play their game all the time. It's a run game. Al, you kind of think that Penn needs to get in their running game. I think if they do, Michigan State really has the upper hand. I think Judd wants to run and stay in that zone.
All right, that's the general strategy from the team's perspective. Now the individual matchups. What's the key in your mind?
I think the key is the decision that Weinauer made on putting Tony Price on Greg Kelser. It's a very dangerous mix-up because Tony Price can end up getting in foul trouble. And if he gets in foul trouble, it's going to force him into the zone. I personally thought they should have put Matt White on him, but I'm not the coach.
All right, so maybe we'll watch for that matchup. Will Tony Price be able to handle Kelser? How about from the Spartans' point of view?
Well, I think since they play the zone, their defensive matchup not the key. But the big thing is this. Magic Johnson's really a forward on defense and a guard on offense. Very seldom you see that. So the real key, I think, is to let Magic get that ball off the boards and start the offense as he does the minute he touches the ball, Dick.
We've talked about some marvelous athletes, and each team represented by one. Tony Price, top player in the Ivy League, All-American, Irvin Magic Johnson from Michigan State. It's interesting to hear their feelings about being in this tournament.
Penn is a very good team. They beat some very good teams. North Carolina, St. John's. You know, you just don't get to the Final Four by walking in the door.
We seem to respond better when we got our backs to the wall and no one gives us a nickel of a chance to do anything. And I think that the team just has, responded better to those circumstances. When we was a little bit favored over St. John's, we might have played our worst game of the tournament because we didn't have that, type of relax. We could relax because we're not expected to win. We're not expected to do anything, so there's really no pressure on us.
I always loved to play basketball. It's been just the dream of my life, just to get on the court and get on a pair of sneakers. I love to play. I love other people to play it. And I love to watch other people. I'm a fan of Larry Bird. I really love to see him play because he come up with some new passes I ain't even seen before.
I figured if we win 2 ball games here, then any type of reward, I'd get it in the long run. So I'm not really going out to prove anything personally other than winning 2 ball games. That's all. Only thing I'm here for, not to impress anyone or show anyone that I should have been picked for something like that. I just out here to win. As long as we win, and people don't give me the respect that I think I deserve.
Championship fever, it's in the air and moments away, and we'll get to it right after we return you to our studios.
For Michigan State University, wearing number 32 at forward, 6'7" senior from Detroit, Gregory Kelser. At forward from Pennsylvania, number 20, 6'5" senior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Tim Smith. For Michigan State, wearing number 12, forward, 6'4", sophomore from Windsor, Ontario, Michael Berkovich. For the University of Pennsylvania, wearing number 21 at center, 6 feet, 10 inches tall, senior from Bethesda, Maryland, Matt White. For Michigan State, wearing number 15 at center, 6'7" junior from St. Croix, Virgin Island, Ron Charles. Pennsylvania, number 3 at guard, 5'11" junior from Malvern, New York, James Salters. For Michigan State, wearing number 11 at guard, 6'2", junior from St. Louis, Missouri, Terry Donnelly. For Pennsylvania, number 32 at guard, 6'2", senior from New York City, Bobby Willis. And for Michigan State, number 33 at guard, 6'8", sophomore from Lansing, Michigan, Irving Magic Johnson. Welcome, please, the head coach of the Quakers, Bob Weinauer, and the head coach of Michigan State University, Judd Heathcote.
The Spartans against the Quakers. The starters are ready, and so are we. We'll get to the tip-off right after this commercial message.
The men who are honored to work the game today, and of course they are looking forward to a final shot as well. You saw the referee, Richard Weiler from the Big Ten area. He's working with Mr. Sylvester and also Mr. Buckowitz. Bob Harold, Pac-10 is a standby official. The Quakers, the long shot in this tournament in the Final Four against the Michigan State Spartans. And here's how they line up. Michigan State is the favorite of the 4 teams that have made it to Salt Lake. The Spartans will have the height advantage. Kelser jumping against White. Michigan State controls. Ron Charles will introduce the players to you in this first time down court. Donnelly with the ball. Outside to Berkovich. Johnson is underneath. Kelser, leading scorer, and a foul holding Tony Price of Pennsylvania.
There you are, Pennsylvania playing a man-to-man defense, Al. There's the matchup you talked about, Price on Kelser. A very tough one to make. I think we're going to see Penn go into a zone early.
Kelser was very close to a walk that time.
Here you see the zone set up. 1-3-1.
We'll see a lot of zone defense. Johnson with a pass to Kelser. No basket. Traveling on Kelser. But what a pass by Magic Johnson.
Of course, there we see what's going to happen when you play the zone. Magic Johnson can both throw over it and go through it. Something most guards don't have a chance to do. Here's a beautiful pass inside. Kelser really pumped a little bit before he went up for the shot and was called for the walk.
That was almost a no-look pass by the Magic man. Pennsylvania, its first offensive possession. Salters to Smith. That's White. Great percentage shooter, but will not shoot unless he's in tight. Price open. Can't hit the layup. Out it comes to Berkovich.
Now they're throwing down paper on the floor. This happened in the regional, too, and it's really a shame going to hold up the game early. What happened right here is Gregory Kelser, playing that part of the zone, anticipated the ball going to be thrown out and thought Charles would come in behind. Beautiful pass. They won't get many more open than that.
No score. First minute of play in Salt Lake City. Indiana State and DePaul will play the second game. A whistle away from the ball and a foul on a man who is foul prone. The center of the Quakers, number 21, Matt White.
Really kind of surprised that the zone is this wide open on the inside, and once again the real key is Johnson's passing over the top of it.
Donnelly, Berkovich is the best outside shooter for Michigan State, and the Spartans lead 2-0.
He's the best pure shooter in the Big Ten.
Turned over. Errant pass is Pennsylvania indeed on the transition game, gentlemen, trying to beat Michigan State down court.
They want to run, but then they'll pull up if they don't have it. I think they handle the zone beautiful the first time down. I want to see what they do when they set up again.
Change back to man-to-man.
Greg Kelser, 4-0. Kelser, a member of the All-America academic team. Drive by Willis and a whistle. Foul is on Irvin Johnson of Michigan State or Berkovich.
It's on Berkovich. Here's something that in watching Michigan State, and you can see Judd Heathcote really upset there, Al. He doesn't like for people to penetrate that zone, and that's what Penn's going to do instead of trying to go perimeter. Good move on their part.
Well, Willis can penetrate any zone. He's an excellent ball player, probably the best guard in the East.
Three of the top officials in the nation appears are going to call a tight game. White can't connect. Price out of bounds, touched by Johnson of Michigan State.
Surprisingly, they're getting inside that zone.
They sure are. They're getting the ball in there well. They've missed 2 easy shots, ball knocked out of bounds, but they are hitting the seams in the zone real well.
Take it away! Take it away! Take it away!
Salters from the corner, not there. Rebound to White. Back underneath and knocked out of bounds, off the fingertips of White. of Pennsylvania.
You can already see the scouting report. Magic Johnson didn't go out on Salvers that far out. He was a little bit out of his range.
And Michigan State scores this time down court. The Quakers are in a bad spot, behind by 6 early.
There's Timmy Smith, a little bit overmatched there with Magic Johnson inside, getting behind him and drawing the touchdown.
My point, Al, was it's 4-0 now. A Michigan State basket makes it 6-0. That's just the way the Spartans want it. The early lead, and as you pointed out, then that zone defense gets tougher.
The zone gets tougher as you get a lead.
Willis all the way. Can't score it. White hold against Charles of Michigan State. So the Quakers have missed 3 fairly easy shots in close.
You know, the zone's not as strong without Jay Vincent in the ball game. It's helped them by having Berkovich out there for shooting, but it's not as bulky as it was with him in there. You know what, Al?
Well, if Penn State keeps his patience now, they're getting inside. They get good.
Don't
Excuse
say
me.
that. Don't say
Excuse me.
that.
Oh, I owe you an apology.
Tony Price scores. It's 4-2.
The University of Pennsylvania tried to recruit me when I got to high school.
University of Pennsylvania fans have thrown more streamers on the court. That's a highly academic institution, and I hope that some of the intelligence will prevail. We're going to have a long first game.
And Dick, as a little trivia, when they recruited him, Ben Franklin was the coach.
No, Chuck Bernard was the football player there at that time. I stayed at the Newman Hall.
Still back to the zone. 2-3 now. They're switching those defenses every time down the floor.
2 minutes gone. 4-2 Michigan State. Berkovich can't hit it. Kelser, Charles, and a good defensive play by Willis reaching in to deflect it off the leg of the Spartan player.
Charles making one of those mistakes a lot of young big men do. They put the ball on the floor and a quick guard comes in to get it. Here comes Jay Vincent in to take his place.
University of Pennsylvania looking for the tying basket. Wide open. Can't hit it. Price ties it up. Tony Price makes it 4 aside.
Great play, and the thing that's really amazing me is the fact that Ron Charles not doing a job in the middle of that zone. Penn's really getting the ball in well. 2-3 zone again.
They're leaving Berkovich open. Now Johnson, 17-footer, banks it in. Irvin Johnson gives Michigan State the lead.
That'll teach you.
Out of bounds to Michigan State.
Here we see Price, who is a good rebounder, plays big at 6'7", going up on the inside, good tap in, really hustling. Second time up, put it back in.
Jay Vincent, who has been playing with an injured foot, was hobbled last week, has the ball. He has replaced Ron Charles. Vincent moving much better than he did last week.
They say 70% cured.
That's Vincent, also from Lansing, Michigan. Was a high school opponent of Irvin Johnson. Kelser connects again. What a player he has been in this tournament.
Price is overmatched right there. His defensive fundamentals weren't right to cut off that pass. He's having some trouble.
Willis, and a foul against whom? Willis of Pennsylvania. As Johnson had him closed off at the pass.
Here we see Bobby Willis, excellent ball handler, and he's doing what you got to do against Michigan State is get the ball inside the zone. He went a little too far. Good defensive play by Magic Johnson on the inside.
Michigan State leading by 4. 3.5 minutes gone.
They're really starting a 1-1-3 zone, then they're matching up after the first pass.
Johnson, not known as a great shooter, has hit 2 in a row. Michigan State has its biggest lead, 10-4.
The reason that Johnson doesn't shoot from the outside is not, it's not appetizing enough.
Tony Price can't connect. Donnelly saves to Johnson.
Here's his play.
What a pass. Kelser to Vincent. And a foul on Smith of Penn.
There's the thing that Magic Johnson does so well. Normally, when you get a man grabbing a ball off the boards, he'd have to throw it out to the guard that's going to bring it up the court. He creates his own fast break right here, and you've got to cut him off early. Gives up the ball exactly the right time. Nice handoff to Vincent on the inside. Goes up with it. Has a lot of ball.
Jay Vincent, 6'8" sophomore. He went to Eastern High School in Lansing. Johnson, Everett High School. Vincent hitting 13 points a game. Long longtime friend and rival of Johnson, and now teammates and sophomores on the Spartan campus. Vincent with a bad foot did not play in the first 3 games of the tournament to any extent. Al, what does his return mean to Michigan State?
Well, what it does, it strengthens their zone more than anything else underneath, because he has the bulk more and the strength that Charles doesn't have. And anything else, as you went through a season and won a Big Ten championship, you miss a person when he's taken out. Even Ron Charles is good. He started the first 19 games, and Berkovich took his spot.
Vincent has his first point. Michigan State leads 11-4. As Pennsylvania attacks that zone of the Spartans.
It's a zone, but there's an awful lot of man-to-man out there, particularly on the ball.
Smith can't connect. Kelser knocked it away from White, out of bounds to Penn.
You know, Dick, in answer also in regard to Vincent, a team that plays a matchup zone as well as Michigan State, the guys have to have a feel for each other. It's impossible to take a guy like Vincent out of there and not really hurt yourself on defense.
Price had a chance underneath, could not connect. Berkovich, 12-footer. Michigan State 13, Penn 4.
Surprisingly, Penn should be right in this ball game. They missed a lot of chippy shots. If they don't lose their composure, they'll be all right.
Timeout, Pennsylvania. 4.5 minutes gone in this game, and the Spartans jump out to a 9-point lead. 8-year-old Bob Weinauer on the Penn bench. A further examination of your point that Pennsylvania should be much closer than down 9.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were making the chippy shots. There are a lot of garbage shots underneath. They're just not going in. I think they're anticipating Magic Johnson and Jay and Kelso going too high, and they're pulling up on their shots. They're working against the zone just beautifully if they keep it up. There's 15:30 left in the game. The score is 13-4, and they'll get a hot hand.
Pennsylvania 2 for 11. 2 for 11 at the start of this game. Don't forget tomorrow, for the first time, live coverage, as you'll see the top women collegiate basketball players. It'll be Louisiana Tech against Old Dominion here on NBC. Willis hits from outside. He's not known for his outside shooting, but he cuts Michigan State's lead to 7.
And here they are picking up full court a little more. If they continue to do that, we'll see Magic bring that ball up the court instead of playing the forward spot.
If they fall right back into a zone, Billy.
Yep, 2-on-2. They've played 2 different zones so far early in this ball game, plus man-to-man. Well, what an advantage he has being able to be 6'8", throwing the ball right over the top of the zone. Here he is going to the middle of it.
All right, we got a coaching strategy here right now. They want to force Pennsylvania into man-to-man.
They'll play him 3-on-3 also. With Magic playing in a post, they pull the guards out, and he'll turn and face. There he is.
And Johnson has made 3 in a row, 15-6, with 5.5 minutes gone.
That's a good move. The Judd Heathcote says, heck, I'll play you 3-on-3 instead of 5-on-5.
Kelser, leading rebounder for the Spartans, a 2-on-1 break. Johnson, he'll set it up.
Oh, he's so smooth. Penn can't afford to go out and play him a 3-on-3 game, but they're back to man-to-man.
Berkovich, foul on Salters of Pennsylvania, his first.
Good call.
Bob Weinauer, he did not letter at Cortland State in basketball. He was a catcher in baseball, a quarterback in football, couldn't make the basketball team. Now in his second year, head man at Penn, has the Quakers for the first time ever in the Final Four. Ron Charles back in for Michigan State. Jay Benson, not 100%, but playing better than he has the last 2 weeks, goes out.
Still the zone. Booney Salters out here chasing a little bit, trying to trap.
What's interesting, Al, is this is what Pennsylvania had hoped to do to Michigan State.
Pennsylvania, as long as they don't lose their patience. They got to collapse on Magic and a high post when he gets the ball.
They're drawing him out of that zone principle, but they're playing man-to-man now.
I love an interception by Nat White.
Saved the alley-oop that time.
Willis to Smith. Price inside. Good pass to White. And he's short-handed that one.
They just can't hit the chippy shot.
Magic slows them all down.
Ron Charles back to Johnson in the post to Kelser. Foul. Tony Price. And for Price, that is his second, so both Smith and Price have 2 fouls already.
One of the things that's happened to Penn right now is that they're not stopping any pass that Michigan State wants to make, and therefore they're handling the ball exactly where they want to score.
At the line with that off-center approach to shooting fouls is Greg Kelser. He takes a step to his left rather than facing the basket in a direct line. And an average shooter.
They're in the all-important 1-1 already. The only amount of fouls on Pennsylvania is 2, so they got 4 to go.
They have Vincent Ross in the game instead of Matt White. White was pulling up a little bit short in his shots. Bobby Willis also going out, so this is a very small team that's on the floor for Penn right now.
Kelser looking for his 7th point. And Michigan State has its biggest lead, 10. It comes at the 13:07 mark.
Take it away. Take it away. Take it away. Take it away.
Number 22 is Vincent Ross into the lineup.
They get in the perimeter passing game, and that Michigan State zone really will get tough on them. They're going to have to penetrate, get it inside somehow.
Ken Hall, 33, also in for Pennsylvania.
They got it set up right. They'll get the shot.
Price double teamed in that zone and picks up a foul from Berkovich of Michigan State.
You see Magic saying to Berkovich, look, I had him. Go ahead back in your area of the zone. I've got him when he's down here. And that's what it takes, Al, you know, to play that matchup. Guys talking, having a feel for their part of the court.
Well, I personally thought that Magic committed the foul that time. He put his hand in.
But he got away with it.
Robert Gonzalez, 35, enters. Exit Berkovich from Michigan State. Out of bounds. You could hear Salter saying, no, don't throw it to me. I'm out of bounds. He knew he was out of the field of play. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Your Easter Seal Telethon station, WILX-TV 10, serving mid-Michigan.
Greg Kelser for the Spartans. Rebound. 22, Ross. Turner brings it up.
This is the first year the Ivy League allowed freshmen to play.
Smith, the veteran, can't hit. And it's over the top to Michigan State.
Good block out on the inside here. We're going to see it right now. Magic Johnson, watch him block out. Gets inside position. Excellent play on his part. He's not only a great ball handler, he's a good rebounder. And a man again. Magic posting up inside a lot, Al, on Smith.
Johnson makes his 4th in a row, and a foul underneath on Charles of Michigan State. The basket is good. So Johnson, who on the season has not raised a lot of eyebrows with his shooting, hitting just 45%. He's a perfect 4 for 4.
But what he's doing now, he's posting up Tim Smith. He's just too small to cover him in the pivot.
Another thing, too, Dick, about him shooting-wise, a lot of times he shoots only after he's exhausted all his passing opportunities, and therefore his percentage is going to be down somewhat.
We played over 8 minutes, and Pennsylvania has only 6 points. They trail by 12. And the Quakers have not been able to run.
I think we're going to have to have Bobby Willis back into the ballgame again to get some penetration.
Turner inside. He misses a layup. And finally it goes back to Turner, and a foul on Turner of Pennsylvania. Check that. Hall, Ken Hall of Pennsylvania gets the charging foul, and the Quakers are frustrated.
Well, they really are frustrated. They've had the ball on the rim. Vincent Ross had a chance to get it. Kenny Hall goes back in there. There was the foul right before the shot, before the release. Foul on him, and Al, the fouls are really piling up for Penn. When you've got that short a team on the floor, they really are at a disadvantage around the basket.
Well, some height is coming in now. Matt White returns for Pennsylvania.
Well, surprisingly, I've had Michigan State 3 times this year, and Pennsylvania's gotten inside their zone 1,000% better than anyone else. They just can't make the chippy layup.
Now you have Vincent Ross on Magic Johnson. He's trying to prevent him from handling that ball.
Kelser had it knocked away by White, and that forced the turnover. Traveling.
Nice help.
Now, so far in this tournament, the Big Ten champion Spartans, as you see, Magic fighting it off with 22 runs. They've beaten LSU, they've beaten Lamar, they've beaten Notre Dame, and they jumped off to a big lead against Pennsylvania. No one has been able to really challenge them early.
Well, they just can't find that range.
Rice can't connect. Here comes Johnson. And a foul on Price. Oh, that's a thin foul on Price in the backcourt, and that's his third foul.
Well, Price had the right idea, try to slow down Magic, make him give up the ball on the other end of the court. But, of course, that's a real tough break for him. But Price out of the game. Penn needing baskets, Al. It really hurts to have him sitting down.
Well, I believe that what they got to try now is go to a combination, either a box one with a man-to-man on Magic, or a triangle two with a man on Magic, a man on Greg Kelser. You got to test Donnelly from the outside and the freshman Gonzalez more. If these two fellas handle the ball, you're not going to beat them.
Well, you know, with 10 minutes gone, it's not that Michigan State's killing them with offense. It's the fact that they're not hitting any of their baskets. You know, they've only given up 19. It's not bad in 10 minutes.
One shot.
Johnson looking for his 10th point. We'll have to pick a most valuable player, gentlemen, later in the game. And of course, Johnson has won his share of those honors this year. Consensus All-American as a sophomore.
The thing Michigan State has to watch here now is to stop getting sloppy, because they've got a lead. And they have to be patient themselves.
Almost stolen by Gonzalez.
Nice movement by Pennsylvania against the zone. They're just a little bit hesitant with their star out.
I think fans can watch wherever the ball is. There'll be a man on that ball defensively.
Deflected to Salters in the corner. He's way short, and Charles rebounds for Michigan State.
They just lost their confidence. Need a couple of baskets to get going.
Need more than a couple of baskets, Coach, if they don't get going.
Here's Ross, normally a center, trying to hail on Johnson. He's really using his hands a lot on him.
Foul, and Johnson got hit in the eye. Not serious. Foul goes on Ross, and that'll send Johnson back to the line.
I think Magic getting a little annoyed. You see the hand checking right here. Those were fouls before he ever got fouled here on the inside, getting hit in the eye. Good pump fake. Excellent fundamental there. Almost ripped his head off. And with that haircut, he kind of thinks he's beautiful.
Well, he is beautiful. Irvin is clearing out with his inside hand, Billy.
I'm not going to go for that. He's handling the ball pretty well.
Well, the inside hand, he's clearing out. You're not allowed to do that.
Johnson has been perfect. 4 from the floor, 4 in the bucket. 3 from the line, down the bottom of the well, and 11 points for the Magic Man.
And, you know, primarily he's been posting up because he's played forward this entire ball game. He hasn't had to come back to get the ball up court.
22-6, Michigan State, and we have a timeout. We played a half of this first 20-minute period, and the green and white from Michigan State in a commanding lead. Michigan State 22, Pennsylvania 6. We focus upon the Quakers. Obviously, they're not going to play that poorly. 6 points in 10+ minutes.
Well, they got to do, in my opinion, go back to Tony Price. They got to let it all hang out there. They also got to go to a man-to-man full court. And what they need is 1 or 2 baskets to go in. They're all starting to pull up on their shot. They're pulling their arm back. They're turning their wrist. That's a sign of choking up. And they're too good to choke up.
Well, Bobby Willis is back in the ball game now. He's a guy that gets it going for him.
But Price with 3 fouls sits on the bench. You would play Price even with 3, Al?
In this situation, because you're awfully close to a blowout, 22-6.
Matt White clears. Way off the mark is Ross, but Willis gets it for Pennsylvania. Inside to Smith. He misses a layup, another one, and they're not even close.
Well, what's happening, they're hearing steps in there. They probably read too much about Kelser and Johnson and Charles. And they're anticipating them to have to shoot way over them on the jump shot.
Kelser.
That's a tough shot.
Gonzalez blocked, and Charles lays it in. 24-6. Charles has his first bucket.
They really have lost their feel for the game out there now. You can just see the kids and everything going against them right now.
Let me talk to them once. Take your time, fellas. Go easy. Really, take your time. Don't be in a rush. Let's get a basket this time. Nice and easy. That's it. Here we go. Up, up.
Kelser blocks. Here come the Spartans. Johnson. Berkovich. Oh, my.
Do you know where Berkovich came from? He ran right down.
Ontario.
He came right down the court and got in that corner, and he knew that Irvin was going to get him the ball. He just waited on it. Al, maybe we can get that Ouija man from Louisville to talk to him a little bit.
Foul against Pennsylvania, 32 Willis, I believe. Yes, everything going wrong. Must be agonizing for the people back in Philadelphia and all of those who are champions of the Ivy League, that here's a team that, as Al has pointed out, has done what it should do. It's inside and hitting 17% of its shots, but most of those have been layups. They're getting the ball where they want it to be.
Hey, they beat North Carolina. Michigan State lost to North Carolina. This is a decent ball club, a good ball club. You don't get this far. They won 4 games already in the NCAA. They just did that. Their heads are down. Someone has to pick them up. They have to get a little bit of zip, a little bit of spirit. And of course, Magic is pouring it on. He's not letting them up for air.
And he's playing in the backcourt now.
Gonzalez can't hit, but a tip in by Charles, Ron Charles.
When it rains, it pours.
Got to come back for Tony Price.
Into the game for the first time as Tom Leeson. A steal, 3-on-1, 4-on-1. Kelser misses. Well, turnabout's fair play.
That was good defense by Tony Salters that time. Hung in there well.
Stolen by Kelser.
Beautiful hand.
All alone, Berkovich. 30-6.
Berkovich will be playing for the Canadians in Moscow in 1980.
An incredible start by Michigan State. We may be seeing the best team in college basketball. 30-6, we return to our local stations. NBC Sports. Old Dominion defeated UCLA in the semifinals. Louisiana Tech took Tennessee last night. 7.5 minutes remaining in a lifetime of a first half for Pennsylvania. Blocked by Kelser, controlled by Charles. Michigan State playing a textbook first half.
You know, Judd Heathcote said you're only as good as your last game. In his last game, he said we were very, very good. He's going to say the same thing today.
Another foul on Smith, and that'll be his third. As the NCAA brings its 74th year, concerned with its responsibility role in emphasizing the importance of intercollegiate athletics in our society, it looks forward to continuing its part in the vibrant heritage of America. Highest priority goes to the service it provides to over 800 voluntary members, acting as the true voice of college athletics. Preceding message furnished by the NCAA. Johnson, 12 points in the game, 4 for 4 from the line. That free throw tells the story. Everything has gone home for Michigan State, and nothing for Penn.
Coach Judd Heathcote says that Johnson is the best ball player in basketball, whether pro, college, or high school.
Indiana State, unbeaten, #1 in the nation against DePaul. Ray Meyer looking for that fulfillment of what many feels as an impossible dream. That's our second game. Meanwhile, you're watching a clinic by Michigan State Spartans.
And of course, that zone is dropped back inside the foul line area. Now they're just going to give up the outside shot, force Penn to try to get the ball inside, and there's so much traffic in there.
Willis is fouled. The basket is good. Berkovich made the foul, and that's a moral victory for the Penn Rooters.
I think they're all cheering for that basket.
Well, that was fortunate, too, because it came off the glass, and I think it was playing the pure rim.
Well, you noticed he was guarded by Berkovich. He was playing out front in the zone. The shot was from about 12 feet, but it shows you how far Michigan State's packed back in there.
That's the first basket and first points for Pennsylvania in nearly 8 minutes.
That's so incredible, you know what, Al, because they did have the shots. You know, it's one thing if they take your game away completely, but when you're playing the game and it's not falling, that's something else. Magic waits on it.
According to my notes, 8 minutes and 27 seconds, the drought for the University of Pennsylvania.
Now they have Ted Flick, a substitute, playing Magic Johnson. He's going to try to move on him.
That's Flick, #4. Kelser. And it comes out to Michigan State. Donnelly.
Really playing with cold hands out there. Has a walk.
Charles, that'll be a foul on him. Ron Charles has his third foul. That's about the only negative that Judd Heathcote can find as he searches down his bench, and Jay Vincent will come in for Michigan State.
Now a little question on this. Looking like Michigan State really has themselves in position here. You're coaching them and they're getting a little sloppy, particularly on offense. This is something that could really work against them in the finals, assuming they're going to get there, because they're getting away from their game right now a little bit.
What happens if you don't have any close games, we usually have when you fold, and they haven't had a close one yet in the NCAA.
David Jackson, number 5, a freshman in the game for Pennsylvania. That's Jackson with the ball. Ross, 22, another freshman, is in there.
Well, there's only 2 starters on the floor right now. Matt White and Bobby Willis.
Ted Fleck way outside, not there. Ross banks it. Rebound. Vincent throws it away to Ross. Ross can't hit. And Johnson.
Oh, look at that move
by Fleck of Pennsylvania. Again, the ball just won't drop.
How about the move Magic played on after that rebound? Grabbed it off, put it behind his back into traffic. Well, I tell you, the guy say, watch this move right here. Rips the rebound off, puts it behind his back when he feels the defense. Whoops, I'll see you later, fella. He took it up court. He's out of sight.
You forget, and maybe people are watching Johnson for the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, that man is 6 feet 8 inches tall. That's not a 6'1", 6'2" man handling the ball so deftly. He's a basketball giant. Handles it like a little guard.
And you know what helps Michigan State is the fact that if you press him, instead of playing a forward position, he comes back and handles it at a guard and just takes it up and eliminates the pressure.
He missed the shot.
They should take him out. He missed the shot.
33-8. Michigan State leads with 5.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
The zone gets so much tougher with Jay Vincent in the game.
Willis. Rebound White.
Put it in once, sir.
White can't. Wide open Donnelly. Donnelly joins the scoring parade. He doesn't get a chance to shoot very much. He is the ultimate complementary player to Irvin Johnson.
Well, he's the quarterback of the team. He plays with his ability.
Oh, Kelser. Now here's a man that made honorable mention on most All-America teams, Greg Kelser. We saw a lot of basketball men all year long, and if he isn't in the top 15, then we had our eyes closed. Kelser has an all-around play.
He has all the playing tools. Run, shoot, jump, can pass.
And you notice Judd Heathcote's really not going to his bench much.
Ted Fleck can't hit. Another close-in shot missed. Kelser was fouled. White got him on the wrist.
You've got to come back now with Tony Price. Come on.
Here's another thing that's happening right now to Penn. Their guards are going on inside. Everybody trying to crash the offensive boards, and Donnelly can feel this, so he's going to get a lot more chippies as this half goes on because nobody back there to defend against him.
Bob Weinauer in his second year, going to bring in number 31, Ed Kuhl, KUHL from Orlando, Florida, went to Evans High School. Ross gets a breather. Tony Price with 3 fouls still on the bench. So is Smith. So the 2 top scorers for Pennsylvania been on the bench for this last 7-8 minutes.
Well, you can see the look on the kids from Penn's faces sitting on the bench right there. It's really one of despair. They can't believe this has happened to them. They've had an awful lot of success against good people this year, and I'm sure this is really something they're having a hard time handling.
You saw Michigan State had no one on the free throw lane. Other 4 players were down court. The Spartans have owned this first half. Cool. Can't hit.
Up.
Willis sets up White. He can't hit another layup. Oh, what a pass by Kelser. 2-on-1. Johnson to Donnelly. What a...
Oh, Donnelly's hurt. Oh, I don't know what he hit.
Terry Donnelly, in making that layup, crashes to the court.
Oh, they better get somebody out there quickly.
And it looks as if he was hit in the right eye. No, well, let's wait. Judd Heathcote comes out to check on his fallen athlete. Let's see what happened on the replay.
I believe the leg come underneath his body.
We'll see it right here. This is going to be some kind of pass we're going to see by Kelser. Throwing a ball out underneath a man's legs. Flick. Donnelly knows what to do with it. Gets it back to Johnson. Excellent bounce pass. Now here he comes in, and whoa, it should have been a 2-shot foul. Ooh, he really hit his head. Should have been on Bobby Willis. Should have been a 2-shotter.
Bob Willis used his hip and rolled it under the athlete, and when you're in midair, you're out of control.
Here he is. That was a cut right there, and boy, he really came down, hit the back of his head on the floor. Donnelly's a very important ball player. He's talking all right, though, to the trainer right now, but I'm sure he's sore.
So a blemish on an otherwise exciting first half for Michigan State, and perhaps out of frustration, I think anyone who's ever played any game could understand Willis's position when things are going so bad. You're trying to do anything. There was no intent to hurt, but he did indeed roll in with a hip. Donnelly.
Well, there's Bob Weinauer. I know he's very concerned. He doesn't want to see anybody get hurt at all.
A dazed Donnelly helped off the court, holding the small of his back. But when you hit your head, you may not know where it hurts. Ken Norton knows that feeling today.
Yeah, hey, one of our broadcast buddies. I had a headache last night till I saw him fight, and then I felt an awful lot better. We're in the right profession. You know what, Dick? In watching the ball game right now, we're going to see some subs start coming in the ball game for Michigan State.
Incredible shooting statistics. Pennsylvania wouldn't believe that themselves, and again, most of those from close in. A steal just into the game, number 23, Mike Longacre. Taken right back. Ken Hall for Pennsylvania, and he throws it away.
Well, we have a lot of guys in the ball game right now for Penn that are not used to playing together as a unit. Only one starter in the game.
Why wouldn't he bring in his starters, Coach McGuire?
I can't figure that out. He might be trying to wait for the second half, but this is a Dunkirk. There'll be no second half.
Here's Magic. He's just toying with people out there now.
Jay Vincent. Batted away by Cool and controlled by Willis.
Oh, look at Magic's hands.
Out of bounds. Touch last by Johnson. Terry Donnelly going to go back into the Michigan State locker room to be attended, and it appears he's okay. Good news.
I watched Jay Vincent run down the court that time. He had to go the full 90 feet. Pretty good speed. He really is limping heavily today.
Get ready.
Kelser and Irvin Johnson leap 5 feet in the air to celebrate the perfect pass and a dunk by his teammate Kelser.
You know when it's coming.
40-8 Michigan State, an unbelievable first half.
That's
just not believable that we could have this kind of score when you get down to the final 4 teams in the United States.
Let me see the fast break again. Now here are 2 forwards leading this break. Guards back inside. It's all over when Kelser gets up there.
That was a gorilla dunk.
We apologize that there are some video problems in our telecast from Salt Lake City. Kelser and Johnson are seeing things well, but I know some of you around the country having trouble. The telephone company is working on that and trying to clean up the difficulties. We apologize. Telephone company will set things.
You know, Dick, excuse me, you know what is hard to believe watching this game? With the score being what it is, Penn is coming in with all of their subs. Michigan State staying with their regular people. You'd think it'd be the other way around.
Fool the game.
And close this thing up a little bit.
Judd, why does he want it close? Judd wants to blow it up.
Oh,
He
I know
wants to
that.
win. He wants to get home and get out of here.
Bob Weinauer is really working.
Kelser. Greg Kelser putting on a show, showing the Salt Lake City fans why he's one of the nation's best. He has 10. Johnson has 15.
That's just a prayer there. Push inside.
Gonzalez of Michigan State picks up the foul. 1-1 for University of Pennsylvania.
Gonzalez is a freshman. He's a hard-nosed player. He got ability. All he needs is more playing time. Starting to come out of his shell.
Booty Solders returns to the Penn lineup. And Willis given a breather for the Quakers. You know, if Pennsylvania would have won today, I'm searching through a lot of notes. They started their basketball program in 1902. You know what game it would have been on Monday night if they'd gotten into the finals? Their 1776th game in their history. Wouldn't that have been something? Almost seemed like a statistic that indicated a destiny, but apparently Michigan State doesn't fool around with those numbers.
I don't think Magic is really concerned too much about that research thing.
I don't think he knows who Benjamin Franklin was. I think he thought he was a point forward.
I think there's not too much beer being drank at Smokey Joe's on the campus there.
42-12.
Here we see full court pressure. Magic just goes right over. Magic says, no, okay, let me start it.
Now Kelser is more open. That's the play. 44-12.
They're not even preventing him from handling the ball. I mean, the guy's a great player.
Billy, they're trying so
Johnson
hard to score.
steals.
They
Here it
can't do anything
comes.
else.
And there's Kelser.
Get him
Almost
out of
ripped
there,
down
Judge.
that side of the building. Kelser slamming on Johnson.
The problems you are experiencing is not the fault of your television, but due to trouble along network lines. Corrections are being made, so please stand by.
Including the announcers.
And they are, they're really playing tough D now. They're going after it.
Number 33, Ken Hall, sophomore from Atlanta, Georgia, has his first bucket. Scored 46-14.
The 1-1-3 zone, Billy, then it's going 2-3.
Well, and what happens when you put Magic outside of this zone with small guards? He just throws right past them, over them, and through them. He doesn't even see the defense. There it is.
Oh, what a pass to Vincent, and he is fouled. We understand that our NBC technicians have the pictures as clear and magnificent as usual. The telephone company's lines out of Salt Lake City somewhere are failing us, and the telephone company working on those problems. We apologize for the video difficulties.
You notice, Al, when Magic has that ball, he always has it in two hands control. There's a good pass. Laid it up there perfectly for Kelser to run underneath. Oh, man, he took it back behind his
He
head.
got a lot of distance without a dribble, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he's got the long stride.
I was going to say the bird, but we've got to wait for the second game for that, but he looked like a bird.
Well, some fans would like to see a matchup, Larry Bird against Irvin Johnson.
That's what the fans are hollering for right now. Indiana State said waiting for Bird, and Michigan State fans hollering, we want the Bird. So
Chicago's going to have something to say about that.
That's right.
Matt White is fouled by Jay Vincent of Michigan State. We're down to the 1-minute 16-second pause in this first half. Bob Weinauer. Were you ever in a game like this one? Was any of your teams, Belmont Abbey or back at Dartmouth as an assistant or at Marquette? Were you ever in a half like this?
I could never remember being in one all my life. I know it's a very torturous thing for the coach to go through because obviously you got to be good to get to the Final Four. But you always have droughts during the season. You just happen to hit a drought at a very questionable time.
Pennsylvania is as are the Ivy League schools. They don't have athletic scholarships as such. They have a need program. Matt White is so incentive. When's the last time a center in the Final Four paid $8,000 a year for his education? He gets not one penny.
Well, I'm sure he'd rather be playing a piano, which is something he's really good at.
He's good at it. You know, he's a classical pianist, Matt White is.
Back to the man-to-man, and Magic Johnson just creating his own offense right now. He just wants the ball back, telling his guys to get over.
Gonzalez. Rebound White. Johnson took it right out of his hands in midair.
Gregory Kelser looks for Johnson and say, come back out here. I'll get open next time. A little delay game, looking for the last shot.
You know, we do have something maybe in the second half a lot of fans have not seen. Gonzalez scores. A lot of fans haven't seen the fabled Jamie Shoes Huffman. Shoes Huffman. We'll probably see him in the second half. From the corner, Ken Hall hits for Pennsylvania. 4 points for him. 17-16, that's the official clock.
That's the second shot that Hall's made in a row from the outside.
He's from Georgia. He's all-state football and basketball.
Magic wants to create a big play here for halftime.
Has not hit at the buzzer. Agony for Pennsylvania. Ecstasy, Michigan State. 20 minutes in the book. Spartans 50. Quakers 17.
We've got the Pro-Cats halftime report coming up. We'll take a look at 7'3" Ralph Sampson. We'll get to all that after these messages from your local.
He has great mobility for 7'3", great coordination.
I was younger, like you watch all the big men like Kareem. It's just unbelievable how the crowds turn out for basketball games.
Ralph Sampson, college recruiters call him a franchise. A senior on the Harrisonburg High School squad, he is 7 feet 3 3/4 inches tall and still growing. He led the Blue Streaks to the Virginia State AA championships as a junior, and his stats speak for themselves. Nearly a 30-point-per-game scoring average, nearly 20 rebounds a game. More than just tall, he's a talented athlete with fluid, agile moves that put him literally head and shoulders above the 70 or so high school seniors in this country, 6'10" and above.
A couple pro scouts have been here, I've been told, but I think I'm going to go to college and get an education and then go into the pros.
The added attention has touched this school. Big-name college coaches are common, seen walking the campus. Ralph Sampson's abilities on the court not only affect his high school and his team, but they spill over and touch the entire city of Harrisonburg.
People coming in, when you have 6,500 people for a basketball game, they got to spend money, and everyone does. So restaurants, everything is, benefited from it.
There must be some wild stories, rumors about the college recruiters. What's some of the things that you hear as a guy who's in touch with both the business community and the athletic program?
We understand that Lefty Frizzell has got an appointment, and he's stays here all the time, or someone does. Coach Holland from Virginia is at every game.
In the courtship of Ralph Sampson, nothing seems left to chance. Virginia coach Terry Holland brings his star players to Blue Streak games and talks to Ralph's parents as old friends. The recruiters also woo Ralph's sisters, Joyce, an 8th grader, and Valerie, a high school track star.
One time, the coach from Virginia Tech told me if I came down there, he'd let me sit on the bench with the players. That was the wildest, but I didn't make it.
Fortunately, the saga of Sampson's recruitment hasn't reached the tragic yet comic atmosphere, the high-pressure tactics used on Moses Malone, now with the NBA's Houston Rockets. Sampson hasn't had to sneak out of his own bedroom window or hide under his bed to get away from recruiters. His coach, Roger Berge, has seen to that.
We set up guidelines, and we sent it out to everybody and made certain ways that he would not be bothered, and he could come and go and play the game of basketball and enjoy his senior year.
Ralph Sampson is rare. He's going to make somebody's program a national title contender overnight. The only rap on his court game is that he could be more rugged, that he is slight at 200 pounds. But he's certain to add heft with age. That will be awesome. When Ralph Sampson finally puts his name on the dotted line, it will be said that his is one of the sanest courtships in this wild, wacky world of college recruitment. A world where grown men, solid, respected citizens see their careers on the line based on the decisions of 17-year-olds. It's scary when you really think about it. Fortunately, this story is not, for Ralph Sampson and his coach have been every bit as big as their reputation.
Last night, Ralph Sampson and a lot of other high school blue chippers played in an all-star classic in North Carolina. We'll show you the highlights of that game between games of our doubleheader.
Side at first half. Previous margin was a matter of 23 points. Purdue over North Carolina, 53-30 in 1969. We have a 33-point deficit. And the lowest score, Kansas State 37, Oklahoma A&M 14. And Penn has 50-17 is the score at the intermission. What do you say?
Well, it's not nice to say, but Pennsylvania's playing like Fred Warren's Pennsylvanians. And I think what you really need is Ben Franklin to come out here and turn it around. But what happened? Hey, they're great young guys. They'll get their head up. They just got their Davos down. I think they'll play a nice second half. Obviously, they're not going to win the game. I'm not going to try to con the people and hype the second half. But we got a great second game coming up.
And meanwhile, Michigan State's fans, Brian, have already challenged Indiana State. They had a visit to the Indiana State section.
I think they're wise to do so, Dick. That's the end of our Pro Kids basketball.
Ready for the second half. Michigan State 50, Penn 17, and statistics in this case don't lie. Look at those shooting percentages.
Well, it's hard to believe because they've had good guys going to the line with their shot, Al, particularly early in the game. First 5 or 6 minutes, they had a couple of easy ones that just wouldn't fall, and it went that way the whole first half.
I think you see a lot of pride in Pennsylvania this second half. Mark my words.
They start with the original unit, does Coach Bob Weinauer. That means that Smith and Price are in there, along with White, Willis, and Salters. Donnelly's okay. He's in there starting for Michigan State. Good news for the Spartans.
Pleased to see that. He's a tough little guy.
Price forces one up, and Johnson rebounds.
Good block by Matt White.
Solder's 15-footer. Over the top on White, over the shoulder of Kelser. So Matt White of Pennsylvania, their 6'10 center, has his 4th personal foul.
He is foul prone, Dick, and he's doing the best he can. He really was a walk-on out of Choate High School.
Bob Weinauer right down there in the game, a real competitor.
Berkovich.
Look at Johnson, didn't even cross half court. He thought they'd create something.
Inside to Johnson, no basket, a foul on Smith. He has his 4th foul, so immediately 2 of the Quakers who had 3 fouls, White and Smith, pick up their 4th in the first minute of the second half.
It's an excellent change off the pass right here by Magic. Takes his man away from the ball, comes back to it. Excellent move without the ball, gets fouled before he gets the shot off.
They've called it very close.
Love to watch Magic not only play, but listen to him talk out there on the floor. He's telling guys, okay, set it up, move here, move there.
A hook. A sky hook by Johnson.
You know, Penn kids are playing very apprehensively on defense. They're just not aggressive. Good pass.
Blocked by Charles, controlled by Willis, and a foul is on Kelser. He crowded in with a body. His first foul. Greg Kelser, a member of the academic All-American team, and we're going to honor, at least identify those 10 players later in this half.
That's a good pass inside by Smith, but Charles is a great leaper in there, and there's Kelser reaching in for the foul. Penn looks like they know what they want to do against this zone, and they've been able to carry that up. They just can't get it to fall.
They're hesitant underneath when they get the ball, Billy.
Tony Price.
That's his shot.
6 points for Price. He leads the Quakers. 52-19 the score.
Here we have the guards playing forwards and the forwards playing guards. Just an inverted offense for Michigan State.
Magic is posting up underneath on Tim Smith, automatic.
54-19. Johnson leads all scorers with 19. In fact, Irvin Johnson 19, Pennsylvania 19.
You know, they list Tim Smith at 6'5", but he's probably closer to 6'3", and Magic is a legitimate 6'8". So he just really has him by about 5 inches, just taking him inside and playing with him.
Come on, man. Well, Johnson creates that mismatch no matter who Michigan State plays. Kelser rattles in another. Greg Kelser complimenting Johnson with 16. Smith controls.
One thing about playing Michigan State, you know what their defense is going to be. It's a matter of beating it. Here goes Magic. Gets it stolen.
Willis around Charles. Good pass to White. Nice play.
But they finally made a layup. That's the first one in 22 minutes and 30 seconds.
Magic a little annoyed with himself on that last fast break.
Kelser, a little one-on-one, and the foul is on Saunders. Grab the wrist.
Tony Price was thankful, but he didn't. He's matched up again on Kelser, and Kelser just taking him. Here it is. Excellent move. No walk. Good crossover dribble. Loses Price. Salters has to come over to pick him up. Almost made the shot. But he's a great athlete.
Nice angle, that shot. Director Harry Coyle, George Finkel, our producer. We have 10 cameras covering this action. Kelser at the line. You know, in the old days, it used to be, well, some kids thought it was an honor to be on the All-America academic team, but now it's become a very significant honor. And look at the names, and those are legitimate All-Americans as players as well. And we salute those men. We'll show you that list again later where we can elaborate on them.
I would have made it when I was in school if they caught me copying.
But you had, what was that vision you had?
Peripheral.
That's what did it for you.
Don't forget Economawalk, my friend Tom Snyder.
Economawalk, a beautiful village outside Al's hometown of Milwaukee. Willis.
Oh, that's a nice play.
Bobby Willis makes it 58-23. Willis has 6.
From New York City, Monroe High School.
Just a matter of getting themselves together offensively.
He turned it over. Ball was knocked away, and then Johnson in trying to control with a bad dribble, and it goes to Pennsylvania.
Bobby Weinauer really working on that bench, and he's got a lot of pride as a coach. And Dick, I think he represents the thing you like most about coach. He's a real teacher. And I think that's why he's been such an outstanding success as a coach.
He was very successful at Massapequa High School in Long Island as football and basketball coach for 10 years.
3-on-2, and it's Berkovich. Can't connect. Price clears. 1-on-2 the other way. Willis takes it inside to Smith. Stolen by Johnson. Johnson looking for a long pass to Berkovich. And there's Terry Donnelly. He needs it, gets it. He's well.
I think if they hadn't scored there, we'd have seen a timeout by Judd Heathcote. He realized his team's getting a little bit sloppy. They're just wanting to match baskets. It's just not all bad. He wants a little more aggression.
Willis gunned that one about 4 rows back, and Judd Heathcote, normally wearing frowns that have deep furrows, but he's a relaxed head man now.
Let them get out of control. If Michigan State has a tendency to get too fancy sometimes.
Oh, good. Nothing fancy about that, but Kelser misses the layup. Willis inside, and the foul is blocking on Irvin Johnson.
Hey, you stepped in, Magic. You stepped in there, pal.
You know, that's a great call. The call was made by Jody Sylvester, and I got to make a little comment here. Watch him reach his hand out. Yeah, he's going to reach out. I've got you. Pull you down there.
Now watch this. Watch the Emmy. Here comes the Emmy Award. Who, me? Yes, you.
You know, Al, I want to make a little comment. The fellow that made that call, Jody Sylvester's from my hometown, and his father was my junior high school coach. A great guy, and a fellow I'm really happy to be associated with in my lifetime. He's really worked hard. This is his first time in the Final Four.
Is he happy to be associated with you?
I don't know about that, Al. He's a great fellow.
Ray Kelser has been taken out by Judd Heathcote, which may be an indication the Michigan State coach is going to go to his bench early in the second half. Kelser leaves with 18. Gonzalez has replaced him. Johnson with a rebound.
He's looking.
There's Berkovich open again. Rebound goes to the youngster, Ross.
Berkovich doesn't miss many of those.
Willis has it knocked away by Johnson.
Boy, those were some hands. He let the man go by. It's kind of sloppy defense, but he still made it by coming from behind.
It's going to be a big Monday night.
S for Spartans and S for successful first game. We'll be right back. National League, Pete Rose and the Phillies at St. Louis.
You know, Dick, we were mentioning officials, and of course, it's the first time in the Final Four that they've used 3 officials. Al, they didn't listen to you all year. They really like to get that court coverage.
Tony Price gets it back. And Johnson deflects that one out of bounds.
Maybe overpassed there. He had the shot on the turnaround jumper.
Irvin does everything but sell popcorn. He helped 4 people find their seats before the game.
He is incredible. Always talking out there, not in a boastful way.
Berkovich leading a 3-on-1 to Kelser, a little too high. Now that's interesting because here's a normal player, Berkovich, trying to set up a player with a lob. Missed terribly. Johnson always makes it look so easy because he's so active.
And did you see Irvin turn around and say, give it to me, I'll make the pass. Really tough to attack this zone now.
Willis.
Oh, nice shot.
Alley-oop, a little scoop. Willis now has 9 to lead the Quakers.
Bobby Willis works in Wall Street in the summertime. I guess he's going to Wharton School.
Hold by Ross away from the ball.
Now, you were mentioning earlier that here you see Bobby Willis coming in, that Penn attacked this zone as well as anybody we've seen play Michigan State, and yet look at the score, and it really is hard to believe because they really did have a way to get inside it. They just couldn't execute when they got there.
I think what hurt them more than anything else is the foul situation. I still believe they should have come back with their starters earlier in the first half.
Smith has replaced Ross. Smith has not scored a point for Penn today. Rice knocks it away from Kelser.
Tony should do something right here. No.
He gets it hit away by Kelser.
Nice.
White scores. Assist Willis.
Matt White missed about 8 of those in the first half. It just wouldn't drop for him.
There's another thing with Jay Vincent out of the game. You don't get that pass when he's playing in the center. He just takes up the room there.
He's a space eater.
Yep, Charles doesn't play that position as well.
Kelser is back in after being taken out for a moment by Heath Coat, and he immediately connects on a 20-footer. He has 20 points.
Ooh, too hard. That was a bullet.
Number 5, David Jackson in for Pennsylvania as we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WILX-TV, Channel 10, NBC, Valencia, Jackson.
Dick Hamburg, Al McGuire, Billy Packer, Salt Lake City, University of Utah, where Michigan State leading throughout, commanding first half lead 50-17, and now leads 62-28 against an outmanned Quaker team from the Ivy League. It just cold from the start, couldn't hit the easy shots, and Michigan State almost errorless in their first half play.
Terry Donnelly would normally make that shot. You know, he didn't bend over very well on that defensive play either. That injury may be really bothering him. That pass is too hard.
Johnson steals. In case you weren't with us, Terry Donnelly, in making a basket late in the first half, collided with Willis, fell heavily to the floor. Days left the game, but okay, and has played the second half. Gonzalez, little stutter step as he started his dribble. Penn goes the other way. It'll be DePaul from the city of Chicago. They've got that Windy City, well, upside down. You could almost hear a Sinatra's lyric to that. And they'll go against Indiana State. They're only 200 miles apart. Larry Bird and company in the second game.
Soldiers Field. I got it. Rush Street, the nightclub section, the Sears Tower.
White rebounds and drops it in. Matt White now has 7 for Pennsylvania.
It'll be the city kids against the rural kids. Urban against rural.
Oh, there's a charge by 2 players.
Both are wearing Penn uniforms.
Right.
Kelser says, I'll take it. Greg Kelser, he makes this game look too easy.
Special K
Kenny
is
Hall.
something that's a keeper. He's absolutely an outstanding ball player. And I don't want to take anything away from Magic, but they're really equal. They complement each other.
Here with Kenny Hall ran into his own man down here, Timmy Smith. Hall's had to go out of the ball game. Really took a shot. Good pass on over here. There's Kelser, ready to take that jumper. That's nice form.
Smith still looking for his first point. White follows it in. White coming into this game, one of the leaders in the NCAA. Field goal percentage was 65%. So for him to miss so many fairly easy shots first half was atypical.
Well, Tim Smith beat St. John's. He hit 5 outside shots against their zone, over their zone.
Gonzalez, offensive foul. Timeout, says Judd Heathcote. The Michigan State headmitter with 12 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in this first game of our semifinal doubleheader. It's still Michigan State freezing.
Livingston Siegel.
No, the name, you know, the scientific name. For
Ornithologist.
What is it?
Ornithologist.
Ornithologist. Well, that's after you catch the bird. And no one's been able to do that yet. Tony Price of Pennsylvania. Kelser out of bounds to Penn.
They sandwiched him in there. He got his rebound and threw it out of his hand.
Michigan State 64, Penn 32. Spartans on their way to the finals Monday night. That'll be at 9 o'clock Eastern time here on NBC. They'll play either DePaul or Indiana State. Price can't connect, but he was fouled. Kelser got him.
They're much more positive in the way they're playing right now. You know, they're throwing the ball up there well, going to the basket. There's a good move by Price, going right up against Kelser. First half, everybody's a little timid in there.
Kelser's 6'7", but he plays so much taller, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a 6'11", 7 foot, 6'13".
Tony Price, who has been the star in this tournament for Penn and winning 4. You know, Pennsylvania's the first team ever that has had to win 4 games to get to the Final Four. With the added teams, a 40-team field, Penn had the extra game and opened by beating Iona, then North Carolina, Syracuse, and St. John's.
Well, you know, in all the other regionals, Dick, you had the number 1 and 2 seeds doing real well, getting up to the finals in the regionals. And, of course, in the East, you had Penn and St. John's, 2 teams seated way down at the bottom, went all the way through.
Did you like the 40-man field, Al?
Yeah, I think it was a good idea. But in tournaments, what happens, 39 teams are unhappy because they lose. And a week later, they feel good because then they realize they had a good season anyway.
Yeah, that's a sad fact, whether it be the NFL to the Super Bowl or the NCAA playoffs. The great majority goes home a loser. Only one can make it.
No way to stop Magic inside. He's posting there on Smith, and you know, Smith really is a lot shorter. Magic in excellent position on him.
Johnson now has 21 points. Deep in the corner is Willis. Foul on 20, Smith, I believe.
That's all she wrote for Tim Smith then.
Here we see. Now watch Magic in position. Smith tries to front him. Magic just gets him post up inside. Takes it right to the basket. Just a total mismatch on that position.
Tim Smith, the number 2 scorer for Pennsylvania. What a sad way for him to end his career. Been a great player for the Quakers out of West Philadelphia. Was a teammate of Gene Banks. He averaged 14 points a game. He was one of the top free throw shooters in the nation, 88.6%, and did not score today.
Well, he played high school ball, only a fast break away from the palestra. He's their defensive star, and congratulations on a great career. One game doesn't change a career.
Oh, Magic Johnson filling the hole. Taking the shot today.
He's filling it. He's tough enough when he's playing his playmaker role, but when he scores the way he has today, then how do you beat Michigan State?
And you know, you can't underrate him in that zone defense. There he is, right there, moving into position on the hole. He really knows how to play the back line as well as anybody around. He gets beat.
Price goes around him and gets 2 and is fouled by Charles.
Magic knows where people are. He has good anticipation. Maybe the only guy any better anticipating back there. There he is, sliding into the hole. Almost makes the play. Now he gets caught outside a little bit, and before he recovers, there's an opening in his area of the zone. There he is, looking around, trying to find the place where the people are filling.
Ivy League's Player of the Year, Tony Price. He too a senior from the Bronx.
Over the line. Yes, sir.
Price jumped in there too soon.
He went over the line after his shot, and that's the kind of thing you'd never expect him to do. He just not concentrating.
Guys, taking him out. Come on, Boone.
A day of maturity for young Bob Weinauer. These are days that the good coaches, their experiences no one likes, but sometimes a lot of good things happen out of tragedy, out of a crisis, and that's what this will be labeled.
Sometimes it costs you your job, too. I don't mean that as being smart.
10 points for him.
There's Boone Smith, a good ball handler, losing it in the open court area.
Solders connects, and that's his first points of the game. Boone Solders, he's the one returning starter for Penn, junior from Malvern, New York. In goes Magic.
Well, he brought it down court, didn't feel anything, passed it off, and very alertly his teammates get it right back to him.
Is that clock running? Is there still 10 minutes left? Price connects. Tony Price, that's his shot. 15-footer, very tough inside.
Time goes so fast when you're having fun.
You know, here's the thing that's interesting about this game is now Magic against the press is going back and playing that guard position. Ross just can't handle him. He's big enough to handle him inside, but not outside.
Donnelly can't hit. Charles gets the rebound.
I think Donnelly's way under capacity right now. He's not moving well at all.
Kelser forced that. That's one of the few things he's done wrong in the 4 games we've seen him in the tournament. Saunders back. And a foul. Tony Price over the back. So for Tony Price, that is his 4th foul.
And Donnelly asked to come out of the game. There's Magic going down the lane. Nobody really getting up head-to-head on him.
He looked like a cowboy about to jump on his horse there, didn't he?
Here's Terry Donnelly walking over to the side. There's Magic coming in. Great angle on the play right there.
I think he jumped over his horse.
Dick, there goes Donnelly out of the ballgame. I think he's in a great deal of pain. He just has not. Look at him sitting down.
He looks very pale.
He sat down gingerly that time.
He sure did.
Monday night, he'll be on top of his game.
Magic just going back now. He's posting up inside.
He's going to take a crane and a big truck to pull Johnson out of this one.
Oh, great play by
Kelser again inside, showing his own form of prestidigitation. He has 24. Johnson has 25.
Kelser and Johnson are putting on a clinic.
Tony Price gets it back, and Price connects. Top player in the East, many feel. Price has 14.
Alan, here's a case where your comment in the first half about getting him back in there when they were out of the ball game anyway is showing that, there was no sense for having him on the bench. You might as well let him in do his thing. He's doing it now, but it's too late.
Kelser's posting him up now. He might pick up his 5th foul under there.
And Magic and Kelser just taking turns going inside.
Johnson was fouled as he goes up for that hook shot.
They just got a little two-man game going out there. The other guy's patient enough. There's the pass inside. Now watch this move by Kelser. He goes up, feels the defense, double pumps it. He's got a lot more strength than you think he has in there. He's really a wiry guy putting it up inside.
Ask and you shall receive. George Finkel on the spot for that shot.
It's a little interesting, too, at Michigan State not putting people down here to get the rebounds, particularly with a guy like Kelser who's going to get you some offensive rebounds.
Well, it's such a close game. The decisions that he's making are so dangerous.
There was a shot. Did you see that little sign in the Michigan State section said MSU and Moscow, Irvin Johnson? Wouldn't it be nice if he stayed around another year?
You should live at the age you're at. As a sophomore, you should live at the sophomore.
What does that mean? Does he come back as a junior?
Well, I hope so, but I don't want to deal with people with money because I don't know what his need at home is, and I don't know a lot of things about it. That's a personal decision to make.
It's going to be a tough one, because we asked him about it, and he said, oh, I want to play in the Olympics. He said that yesterday to me.
I think Dave Gavitt would like to have him.
Dave Gavitt, retired Providence coach, who will be the head man of our U.S. Olympic basketball team. Fine turnaround 10-footer by Ben Ross, Philadelphia product.
Oh, Magic tried to put a little bit too clever. Judd Heathcote's going crazy.
Ken Hall makes the basket, and with 8 minutes left, it's 76-46.
I think even Magic has lost a little bit of his real interest in this ball game. He really wasn't under control in that last move.
Kelser kisses in another. Greg Kelser, 26 points.
Hey, Greg, even a whale comes up for a blow. Slow up.
Kelser in this tournament has scored 31, 15, 34, and he's headed for 30 again in this one.
Oh, Ross is battling.
Why did that Ross get up there?
He's another West Philly boy, and really showing why he's an outstanding player.
He's a teammate of Gene Banks.
At West Philadelphia High School is almost on the border of the University of Pennsylvania campus. They didn't have to go far. Kelser has another 2. He now needs 2 more to hit 30 for the 3rd time in 4 tournament games.
Okay, Judd, move them out now. It's time. Take them out of there. Pull the dogs off.
7 minutes left. Flick. Rebound, Kelser. DePaul, Indiana State in the 2nd game. The winner to meet Michigan State on Monday night.
Magic just walking. He's not even down over half court now. I think he's getting a little bored with the ball game.
The basket is allowed. Berkovich foul.
Come on, Judd. Get him out of there.
Here they come.
It's over. Come on.
Let's see shoes. We want shoes.
Shoes, Hoffman. That's our hero. You might have to explain that to the people.
Well, what happened, and those of you who did not see the games 2 weeks ago, of course, Indiana State DePaul will follow our telecast. We have a very interesting between-game show for you as well. Out goes Berkovich. He's replaced. Number 10, Greg Lloyd, is in for the Spartans. What happened 2 weeks ago, as Michigan State was doing exactly this to Lamar University, winning overwhelmingly, with about 4 minutes to go, Huffman, who was a teammate in high school of Irvin Johnson, was put into the game. He had not scored a point all year. Got into the game and lost his shoe, and for about 2 minutes, while the teams went up and down the court, Huffman was in the corner trying to get his shoe on. Finally did, and scored on a 20-footer, his first ever collegiate basket, and thereby Al McGuire, there he is, that's the fabled Shoes Huffman. Al McGuire gave him the nickname. He said, I have received more notoriety in the last 2 weeks. I can't believe how many people know me. We're rooting for you, Jamie. I like Shoes better anyway.
Yeah, he'll get in there. His father's a farmer, a truck farmer. I asked, what does he grow? He said onions and other things.
He claims it was a package deal that he accepted, huh?
Yep, that's right. They really wanted him first and Magic second.
Meanwhile, Tony Price has matched the number on his uniform. He's the leading scorer for Penn. And again, that quality rising to the top. He's shown why he's in all these players.
Well, I hope they take Magic and Greg out together.
Lloyd.
Well, he's not going to waste any time.
Kay just in the game, and he scores. Rick Kay from Livonia, Michigan. He's a sophomore. His first hoop.
Gregory Lloyd went 2 years to Arizona, then transferred to Michigan State.
Lloyd to Longacre. He scores. Good end. Would have counted even had it not gone in. So Longacre, he's off the bench to get his first hoop. He's from Warren, Michigan, a pre-med major, junior. 6 minutes left.
86 to 50.
Tony Price, short, gets his own rebound. Ross, Longacre, he ran right into a sea of Pennsylvania red or maroon and knocked off balance, turns it over.
One of the big assets of Greg Kelser is he gets off his feet so fast. And he's like a pogo stick. He can go up and down 3 or 4 times without taking another step.
Here we're going to see the play right there. He bounces around and then he moves. Both men moving for the ball at the same time. Walked after he got possession.
Shoes is working his hands over there now, Dick.
But is he tying his shoelaces?
No, he's looking down at the shoes. They're all tight and fixed. He's ready to get in. Look at him. There he goes. He's warming up his arm. He's going to get varicose veins in his arm.
Johnson trying to feed that one. Had it knocked away as he was hit in the face.
He's mad a little bit now. He's going to make a play.
And now the foul is on Flick for crowding. Going to put a little character in the Magic's man's face.
And Magic going up for a rebound. He wanted to throw a pass right there off the rebound. Got hit in the head.
Then he gets hit by the revolving door.
That woke him up a little bit. He said, give me that ball back. I'll take it up the court, which he did.
Gonzalez comes in, and I believe Kelser is going to go out. Greg Kelser, All-American, academic All-American, leads the game with 28 points.
Co-captain.
Kelser.
He averaged 3 points or better the last 8 semesters. How do you do that?
That's a B average and better. He's a criminal justice major at Michigan State.
He looks very calm sitting over there. Now, let me ask you about this, Al. Now, they had this kind of a ball game where mentally...
Billy, I had to interfere with you. Here comes my man.
Here he comes.
Here comes Shoes. Here comes Shoes. The crowd's taking off.
And he's going to replace Irvin. Watch this scene. Irvin welcomes his high school teammate. There they are. Johnson says, go get him. Shoes Hoffman is in the game. 6'3", Lansing Everett High School.
Only in college can this happen.
There's a great scene right there.
And there are our most valuable players. We'll be back with that story in just a moment.
You want...
Greg Kelser, MVP. Again, for the second time in the tournament, Gillette Razor people present $1,000 to Michigan State University in the names of those 2 great athletes. And they're all of that.
That's a super picture. Nice work, Harry Curl.
Now, Al, let me get
we're going to be talking to those guys, aren't we? In the post-game show, we'll get those. And if Jamie Hoffman scores, we get... McGuire and Edberg want to talk to Jamie Hoffman if he scores.
That's a replay in the last play. Longacre scoring again on the break.
Longacre makes it 90 to 50. We have 5 minutes, 13 seconds left. Gonzalez knocks it away, and it touches Price last.
Getting ready for Curtis Watkins to cover the bird.
Bob Weinauer's Quakers. Great tournament victory over North Carolina. That'll be remembered by Pennsylvania fans for a long time. There's Jamie. Inside for Huffman.
Oh, good pass.
What a pass by Shoes Huffman.
He's a white Magic Johnson. Little short, but he's getting there.
Look at this move.
Fine play on the inside. Good dump off. I thought he was going for a left-handed hook. Beautiful pass.
He sets up Kay, who has 4 points. Hey, I think that maybe Judd Heathcote has found himself another jewel on that bench in Shoes Huffman.
Needs a little buffing, but not too much.
Kay at the line.
I don't believe Judd has ever been through a game like this, really, that you get so up for a ball game and then be able to sit over there and relax.
Matt White inside.
Get up there, Matt.
And a foul on Huffman. Judd Heathcote said Huffman had the ball. You can't call it on shoes, but it did indeed go against his star sophomore guard off the bench.
Boy, look at that shot that White missed. That almost typified the first 8 minutes of this game. They had the ball inside, just could not get it up.
You didn't say Templify, did you? Did you say Templify?
I don't know.
I think you said Templify. He's ruining our career, this McGuire.
Leave Billy alone, will you? He's had a long week. He's been in mourning over the ACC.
Matt White, a man that is a story in itself. No one recruited him. He went to Pennsylvania for his education and became a basketball starting center and recognized in the Ivy League as one of the better players.
He won the Piano Teachers Guild Award.
And passed by Kay off the rim out of bounds to Penn. Okay, Billy, you've been kind of quiet about your reaction to the second game, DePaul, Indiana State.
Well, I don't think we're going to see any repeat of this in any stretch of the imagination. I think that's anybody's ball game. Two teams very gifted. I'm expecting the real key to be the defensive guards from DePaul trying to keep the ball away from Indiana State University's offense. That's going to be a real key. Can their guards handle the pressure that's necessary to keep that ball away from Burns?
I think the key is to stop Carl Nix.
Yeah, they've got two great defensive guards in Bradshaw and Garland, and maybe the best team of guards.
Best in the country, in my opinion.
Best defensive guards.
You watch Garland in the second game. He plays with his hands down by his side, and he ends up stealing the ball.
Good great pass, and White scores. What a feed from Willis.
Bobby Willis has made some fine plays here in the second half, and he hit them well in the first half. Nobody could make the shot to win.
Come on, Shoes, do your thing.
All the Michigan State starters are on the sidelines. A foul on Price. That's all for Tony Price, and a chance to pay tribute to a great player. Price leaves with his 5th foul, 18 points. He carried this team in the tournament, made the big buckets, rebounds, and, you know, in Pennsylvania, they don't like to admit that they get emotional about sports, too. They're proud of their academics, but you only had 10,000 people at Franklin Field 2 days ago to see this team off, and they were just as noisy and as enthusiastic as any college crowd could be. And, you know, Price had to play today in an old uniform. That's last year's uniform with a V-cut because someone pilfered his uniform on the way to Salt Lake City.
He's the best forward in Penn history.
Now, wait a minute. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm going to have to make you back up.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't go to that school. They tried to get me to go, but didn't go. Tony Lavelli, that was Yale.
Great. Hankinson was a great.
Who?
Phil Hankinson was a great forward.
Well,
Ernie Beck was a great forward.
All-time scorer, Ernie Beck.
Milkby was a great forward. They had a lot of top players.
Milkby? I thought he went to Temple.
That was his brother.
Stolen by
the owl without a foul.
Right.
Where's Huffman? Oh, that's Lloyd. Nice play by Willis. Your kind of game, Al.
Playground, up and down, transition.
Huffman didn't save it. We're going to talk to him whether he scores or not. I got a feeling he's not going to score.
Well, he will. But these 10 guys are still putting out, playing hard.
He tried to save it. It was out of bounds. Flick. Not a great name for a basketball player, especially one who shoots from outside. Out of bounds to Michigan State with 3:09 left. Michigan State 94, Pennsylvania 56.
Don't forget, Pennsylvania beat Iona 73-69, North Carolina 73-71, Syracuse 84-76, and St. John 64-62 to get here. They just had a flat game, but they are a great ball club. Just didn't have it today. So Michigan State created the problem.
And I think they're playing a Big Five. Shows they can play a lot of good basketball too, because Temple had an outstanding year there also.
David Jackson, freshman from West Babylon, New York, has his first bucket. And Matt White's going to go out. Paul replaces him. White's last moments as a collegian, and he leaves with 13 points.
They might know who the Philadelphia Big Five is, Billy. That's LaSalle, Temple, St. Joe's, Villanova, and the University of Pennsylvania.
Whoops, that's over and back. Hoffman forgot about the timeline.
And you know, I don't think there's any city in the United States that has a we'll call it a league, because I always felt of it as a league when I was back home, that has that kind of competition over the period of years that they have in the Big Five. Been fantastic for years.
Plus they eat pretzels with mustard on it.
What is the Big Five, Al? Our fans around the country don't know the others.
He just gave it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was
St. Joe's, Villanova, Temple, LaSalle, and Penn.
1979 NCAA basketball championship program is a memento you'll treasure. Exclusive information on the Final Four, tournament records, plus plenty of photos, features, much more contained in a collector's issue. Send a check or money order for $4 to NCAA program, box 1979, Lexington, Kentucky 40594. Preceding message furnished by the NCAA.
Bill Hodges and Ray Meyer, they're starting to get a little light sweat on the palms of their hands.
I imagine so. You know, Dick, when you think of the Big Five, too, I think of Tom Gola, LaSalle, when he took his team all the way to national, won a national championship, then lost the next year to Bill Russell's team. Gola and Bird have an awful lot in common, what they've done for a team. You know, I mean, he used to pass the ball, play defense, rebound, do all the things. What a great player he was. And, of course, we're going to see another guy just like that in the second game.
Tom Leifson, a freshman from Long Island, or Longwood, New York High School, has his first points.
Best freshman in the country is playing in the second game.
Mark Aguirre, that's right. People forget DePaul has the top scoring freshman in all of college basketball this year.
Ray Meyer, 65 years young.
Salters out of bounds. Last touch by Leifson with 2 minutes, 10 seconds left.
Well, this is Huffman's chance. He got to take it all the way up the court.
Oh, that's it. That's all. Oh, didn't call a foul.
Huffman can use the free throw.
I think they're freezing him out, Al. He's getting too much puff.
Yeah.
Too much ink.
I hear Magic Johnson's is jealous of his publicity.
That's right.
You know, when they were practicing yesterday, those are the Indiana State Sycamore fans, and they're starting to rev up as Larry Bird and company will meet DePaul's Demons in the second game.
Well, the guys from the cities and from the streets against the guys from the rural areas in the back 40.
Yeah, there are a lot of people, I'm sure, that don't know where Indiana State or Terre Haute is, but they'll be rooting for them because they are the small school, the rural school. And I imagine most of the student body at Indiana State comes from rural area. I went to a school like that, Central Michigan, and there's something special about those people, as it is for the urban schools where the toughness that those DePaul kids have fought through and getting their great education, still the pride in the whole city of Chicago behind the Demons.
Well, Watkins is going to be able to play. He looked good in practice yesterday. What he said, he felt his leg was dragging a little bit on defense. The only thing that was bothering him is the wrap they have around his knee. A faith healer called Ray Meyer tried to heal it for him, and Ray said, hey, we're a Catholic school. We don't believe in faith healers.
Huffman with a rebound. His pass a little long for Don Berkovich, who is the brother of starter Mike. He's a freshman from Windsor, Ontario. Down to 139 remaining. 97-59 the score. We'll be talking with Kelser, Johnson, Heathcote, and Huffman.
University of Pennsylvania dropped big-time football in '53.
Huffman had another big rebound, but a foul away from the ball.
Both the Palestra and Franklin's Field are famous in the East. They've been around for many, many years.
The University of Pennsylvania was the first university founded in the United States 240 years ago by Benjamin Franklin.
I thought he was the guy that was flying the kite with the key on it.
He was.
You know, they tried to recruit me, but I told them they weren't that strong.
Ben did?
Not Ben, no. I told them they weren't that strong academically.
You always put yourself down, though. You don't stumble very often when it comes to intelligence. You don't always use the right word, but no one ever accused you of being dumb.
My mother always said, talk so a shoeshine boy can understand you.
Your mother's watching today, I trust.
Yes. She wasn't feeling well earlier, but she made a good comeback. So we had to give her back the safe deposit keys.
Sycamores and the Demons.
That's not nice.
Michigan State 3 points away from the century mark. David Jackson with a rebound. And a foul. Huffman, Michigan State.
Now I know how a marathon runner feels when he hits that wall about 20 miles out. But we're getting through it. We're doing a good job.
I hope Weinauer's team. Lou Carnesecca had a great line. You know, Pennsylvania with its great academic reputation. Carnesecca said, I hope they're as smart as everyone says they are, because someday they're going to run this country, those kids. And that's true in so many ways. The high positions by ex-Penn graduates, both in business, politics.
Little Louis said they beat him with bazooka shots. They were so far out.
David Jackson, the freshman, in the book, at 14 points all year. 3 points today.
They'll be back. They just had a flat game. I feel sorry for them. There's not much you can say.
You have to have empathy for them. But at the same time, you know what's going to be written too, Al, is the fact that another Eastern school, Ivy League Eastern school, came in with a lot of flowers, and they willed it right away. That maybe the caliber is different.
Well, they got a bad foul situation, and they got out of the gate slow. Obviously, Michigan State's a better ball club.
Foul is on 14. Tom Condon, whose brother played and father played at Notre Dame. And both coaches still on their feet.
Come on,
They're
Judd.
not in the rocking chair.
Judd, smile, will you? Smile, Judd. Come on.
Would you smile? Would you have smiled?
At this time, yeah. I would kind of be happy. He spent 3 years at Montana. Had a very successful record there. 5 years, excuse me. He was 80 and 53.
What's the nickname of the University of Montana? You know?
Big Sky.
No, Grizzlies.
Oh. They should have named it the Big Sky.
Well, it's the Big Sky country. I got to give you a half point for that. 104, 103. We are finally in the last minute of this game. DePaul and Indiana State to follow. Reynolds unable to connect, out of bounds to Penn. Again, Reynolds in the corner. Huffman.
Oh,
fouled.
a shot.
Reynolds
boy.
fouled him, and Jamie Huffman goes to the line 1-1.
Okay, all the jukeboxes are put down low now in Chicago area. Starting to warm up.
Because of but right now let's concentrate on Huffman. He's going for his 3rd point of the entire year.
All right, you'll get it. Fix your shoes.
He's strictly a tournament player.
Fix your shoes. All right, he's stepping up there.
Shoes Huffman. Make the first you get 2. He can double his season output.
There you go, Shoes. Now let's see if he ends up on his toes. If he ends up on his toes, he made the shot. Let's see. He didn't. He went back in his heels. That's why he missed the shot. Oh, Shoes.
Yeah, we'll talk to him about it. Foul on Lloyd of Michigan State with 36 seconds left.
Does NBC come through with a bonus check on these type of games, Dick, for us?
No, we're like hockey goalies. We're not paid for the easy ones. I mean, those easy shots, anyone can stop those. Al McGuire, Michigan State, no matter how you cut it. People said, well, they won another easy one in the tournament. Maybe they're this good.
First time I caught him was against Kansas. They beat a good team in Kansas.
Annihilated a good team.
At East Lansing. Watched them second time against Northwestern. They hit very low tide against Northwestern. That's where they lost to them. One of their problems, they thought, is going to Brazil in September and playing 6 games. They feel they got basketball logged. Had a little bit of a drought in the middle of the season.
David Jackson now has 6 points. 30 seconds left. Lloyd. Foul on Reynolds, number 12.
Shoes stood in there. Shoes stood in there, took the shot. Where do you see this?
You mean Shoes took the
shot? He stood up and took the shot. He should shoot a 1-1. Oh, no. Put Lloyd up there.
Indiana State Sycamores, unbeaten. Remember mid-year, we were down in Durham, North Carolina. Al McGuire, Billy Packer said, well, who is number 1? And Notre Dame had lost the day before to Maryland. McGuire won the hearts of the Sycamore faithful. as he said they should be #1, and they proved to be that, and they're still unbeaten. Only the 10th team in the history of this tournament to enter the Final Four without a loss. Lloyd has Michigan State at the 99-point mark.
25 seconds left.
Ray Meyer, DePaul will try to join that select group of coaches to win the national tournament. And he would then have to pull an upset with an injured star Watkins to do it. Will it be Meyer or Hodges, the coaches in the second game, who smile or frown? Weinauer coaching right down to the final second. I like him for that. The man never showed any signs of quitting on his team or showing up his players. He's coached them to the final buzzer, and he's thinking about Monday night perhaps. Now what? Now what? Is this team that good?
Are we wasting it here? You know, are we taking the show away too soon?
You know, you said you've got to win it all. You have to win a couple of games by 3, 2, or 1 point. He's won them all by 10, 12, or more.
There's 4 things to win a tournament. We've said the first 3 many times, but the last one we never said is that your bench must perform. Some subs must come off the bench and perform like starters.
Sophomore Ted Flick from Seabreeze High School in Ormond Beach, Florida. He's 5 for 5 from the line.
Watkins in the second game will start on Larry Bird.
Larry Bird?
Yeah, Larry Bird.
You know, Bird is going to go back from this tournament and do his student teaching, and he's going to coach a baseball team in high school. He says, you ought to see me. I'm a pretty good right-handed pitcher. Can you imagine him coming off that rubber, a 6'8", firing that right hand? Elbowing foul underneath.
They really seem, Indiana State really seems like a team of destiny. They won so many close games at the end of the season that it doesn't seem possible to keep it up.
Flagrant foul will send. Who wants to take it? Lloyd. He says, hey, I'll take it. He just moved in. He said, I'm going to take these shots. Now, Jamie Huffman, although he missed one today, regarded as a brilliant free throw shooter in practice. Not to take a thing away from Lloyd. For Michigan State. And unfortunately, when the final score is printed, it won't be as close as those numbers indicate. 101-65. Jump ball now as Lloyd hits a pair of free tosses. 6 points for him. We want Bird, chant the Michigan State fans.
They might be sorry they're saying that.
They may not get Bird. DePaul has its own design. Well, Angelo Reynolds, a Philadelphia freshman, has his first bucket. And whistle from the other end. Reynolds went down. May have been a baseline violation on the pass by Michigan State. He's going to say, come on, let's get this game over.
Well, I tell you, he's a good coach. He stays in the game. He doesn't fool around with the game.
Graduate of Washington State. Lloyd with 3. Long pass to Kay. Shades of Jerome Whitehead. And the ball game is over. Michigan State. Judd Heathcote, the Spartans, Irvin Johnson, Greg Kelser, Big Ten tri-champions are in the final game for the first time in Michigan State history. They'll meet the winner of DePaul, Indiana State. That game to follow. Congratulations to Michigan State. They defeat Penn 101-67.
A good basketball team. They got off to such a poor start. Had to play catch-up basketball, which you know, it's hard to do when we have the players that we have. And so I'm amazed that we won as easily as we did, but I still say that Pennsylvania is a good ball club. They just, you know, didn't play well today.
Judd, now let's talk about in the future here. Jay Vincent, you had him going in there some today. I watched him going up and down the court a little bit. It looked like the legs still bothering him, and you're going to have him if you play against somebody as tough as either of these two teams you got a chance for.
Well, that's true. Jay's foot really came up lame again. Terry Donnelly has a severe bruise on his hip, so we may have a couple of players that will be below par, but we hope that both will play and play well.
You know, in that matchup zone of yours, Jay does such a great job with his bulk back in there playing that middle position, and it looked to me like Penn was going inside pretty well against you, as well as anybody I've seen.
We thought they got the ball inside on us early, better than anyone we played. They just never converted the basket. And, you know, they shot, I think, what, 6 for 36 the first half. We thought had they made those baskets, it would have been a ball game.
Judd, thank you very much. We're going to bring in a couple of your Titans here. Irvin Johnson, Gregory Kelser, co-most valuable players in this game. Greg, was it as easy as it looked?
Well, it was relatively quite easy, but I think Penn, you have to feel that they're a tough team for the reason that they beat Syracuse, they beat North Carolina, they had a tremendous season. To get here, they had to be a tough team. I think if we was to play them again, it'd probably be a much tougher game.
Was it difficult for you to keep your head in the ball game when you break at halftime leading 50-17?
Well, at that point in time, it's very, very easy to get lackadaisical and complacent, but our coach told us that we were going to have to fight that coming out, and that our mission was not to embarrass Penn, but to not embarrass Michigan State also.
Billy, watch the hands of the guy next to you.
Well, Magic, one of the things about the game today that interests me is how much you played down inside. Was that just a feeling that you had in there with Smith on you that you could go inside and do as well?
Well, all year, really, I've been going inside. A 6'4" man on me. He said he was going to stop me from getting the ball, so I thought...
Well, he told you that?
No, I read it in the paper, so I thought I would go inside, see what he could do with me. And I had about 4 inches on him, so it paid off.
You know that you mentioned the Penn winning that game against North Carolina. It seemed like you guys came out really mentally into the ball game. Did you do that yourself, or did the coach just have to warn you about it?
Well, I would say back around mid-season, we were 4-4, and then we had 11 games to go. We had to win every one of them. We had to approach them all the same. We couldn't play not to lose. We had to play to win, and I think that's the same attitude we came out with today. We feel that potential is the key to our ball club. Anytime that we play to our potential, we're an awful hard club to beat.
You guys are tough to handle.
Irvin, Greg, thank you very much. Good luck Monday night. Let's throw it across the floor. Dick Enberg and Al McGuire have a very special guest.
Greg Kelson, Irvin Johnson, and here's their favorite backup, Jamie Huffman. Coach, you had a question for Shoes?
Shoes, I wanted to know last night, what did you dream about coming into the big game?
Well, I had a hard time getting the slip for the first thing, but I just hoped that all our players could come out and do what, we had in mind, which was win this game.
Did you picture yourself making the last shot in a close game?
Well, it would be nice to do something like that, but I just tried to play with the other fellas on the team and work with a second group so we could get some baskets.
How come Michigan State? Did you come as a package with Magic? Because I know you played with him in high school, and you were really a forward or a point guard.
Well, my brothers went to Michigan State a long time ago, and I had always wanted to go to Michigan State. And when I played with Irvin in high school, and when he decided to go to Michigan State, it made me want to go to Michigan State all the more.
What was Johnson like in high school? Can you compare? Is there a difference in Magic from the kid you knew that won the state tournament in the state of Michigan?
I think that he's become a lot better ball player, and he's still, he's really friendly with everybody. He was like that in high school. I don't think his personality has changed. It's just that he can't talk to everybody like he could in high school.
She'll keep him laced up tightly Monday night.
Yeah, okay, thanks a lot.
Jamie Hoffman, Peg Shoes by Coach Al McGuire. Let's go back to Bryant.
Okay, Dick Enberg, thank you very much. Our final again, Michigan State 101. The Penn Quakers, not a lot went right for them. They put 67 points on the board. Indiana State against DePaul coming up.